What's up, my beautiful writers and creatives? It's your girl, Charla Lauriston, and I'm coming at you today with an episode on mindset. If you don't know me, I am a professional screenwriter and a certified life coach. I do a lot of creative coaching. I do a lot of working with writers and creatives on achieving their potential. And one of the most common mistakes or issues that I see is an issue with mindset, an issue with self-belief, not believing that something is possible for you, not believing that you're capable of something. And I can't tell you how detrimental a poor mindset is to your future, to your career, even to your creativity. When you have a poor mindset, when you have a mindset that focuses on problems, on limitations instead of possibilities and solutions, what you do is you basically cut yourself off at the knees. You cut yourself off from even being able to figure things out, to find solutions, to make a plan, because you've already decided that something is not possible for you. It's actually one of the biggest issues. It's something that I personally have to work on all the time, is making sure that I am catching and stewarding my mindset, because I know how important it is to my general happiness and to my success. So if you're someone who struggles with mindset, then stick around, because I'm going to be talking about mindset shifts that you can make starting today to get you to the next step or to the next level in your creative career. So let's jump right in with the number one mindset shift that you need to make. And it's going from I need permission to I don't need permission, or I'm allowed to do whatever it is that I want to do. I remember when I was first starting stand-up in New York City, and there was this mindset amongst comedians that they had to kind of wait their turn, that they couldn't go after certain things, they couldn't do certain things because it wasn't allowed, quote unquote. They needed, I guess, permission. But the fact of the matter is that creativity waits for no one. Progress waits for no one. There's no such thing as needing permission from anyone to express yourself creatively, to take any kind of creative chance, to put work out there that you feel called to put out there. Whether it is because you are a certain age and you feel like you're not allowed to do certain things, whether it is because you are newer in a profession and you feel like you need to have some arbitrary amount of years or get some sort of arbitrary validation. That's the other thing about needing permission. It always came across to me as very arbitrary, that there wasn't any real rules and people were just making up rules to, I guess, not step on toes, not appear that they were to not appear disrespectful in some way. I think one of the things that really helped me was that I was a new comic. I didn't know the rules. I was new to the whole thing. And I just knew that there are no rules. There's nobody coming to give me permission. There's no one who's going to stop me if I want to do a half hour in my first year of stand-up. Who gonna check me, boo? Nobody. So if you're someone who's waiting for this secret, imaginative, arbitrary permission to go out and do what you want to do, I want to let you know that that mindset needs to be shifted right now, because no one's ever going to come and give you permission. You don't want to be the kind of creative who waits for permission from anybody. You don't want to be the kind of creative who feels like there's some sort of mental block when it comes to doing what you want to do because you need some sort of outside validation or permission to do it. So that is number one. You don't need permission. You don't need to wait. You can go out and do what you want to do right now when it comes to expressing yourself creatively, and don't let anybody tell you different. The next mindset shift that you need to make is going from I'm afraid to be seen to I am allowed to be seen. Now, visibility and being seen is one of my personal biggest issues. It's scary to be seen. It's scary to be seen trying. It's scary to be seen succeeding. A lot of us grew up in circumstances where shrinking kept us safe, where being seen was putting a target on our backs. So it's totally understandable if being seen is sensitive for you, if being seen feels unsafe for you. But an important part of the work that I do as a coach to creatives is helping you feel safe in being seen, helping you feel safe in your body, helping you see yourself first so that you are comfortable being seen by others. So there's always ways that you can work on your fear of being seen, on your tendency to shrink back. And the work is important if being seen is what you want. If being seen is what you want and being seen is one of the most scary things for you, then know that being seen is what's going to be incredible personal growth for you. It's what it is for me. It's what it is for a lot of the clients that I work with. When you have a desire to be seen, but it's also simultaneously one of your biggest fears, that means that that is a path to tremendous personal growth for you, because you're going to have to work through the fears. You're going to have to get comfortable in your own body. You're going to have to change your tendency to shrink. You're going to have to learn how to take up space. There's so much that you are going to be changing about everything that has held you back from being seen. And it's tremendous, fantastic, wonderful personal growth, particularly, like I said, if being seen is something that you really want. So that is the other mindset shift, from going from I'm afraid to be seen to I'm allowed to be seen. The next mindset shift that you need to make is going from I can't make mistakes to imperfection is my superpower. If you're someone who comes from a background where you are a people pleaser or a perfectionist, and you are starting to feel the mental and emotional weight of not allowing yourself to be imperfect, of having to mask constantly or be hyper vigilant around how you are being perceived, policing everybody's perception of you, making sure that no one thinks badly of you, no one thinks that you are dumb, no one thinks that you make mistakes, whether you're doing this at work. If you're doing it in one part of your life, you're probably doing it in other parts of your life. So if you're finding yourself struggling to embrace your imperfections, embrace being seen as imperfect, embrace dropping the mask and dropping all of the work that you're doing mentally to make sure that you are controlling everyone's perception of you. If that's something that you want to do, then that's an important mindset shift for you. Shifting your mindset from I can't make mistakes to imperfection is my superpower. This mindset shift to I'm allowed to be imperfect or imperfection is my superpower is very similar to that I'm allowed to be seen mindset shift. It's allowing yourself to feel safe when you are imperfect. It's dropping the tendency to control or try to control everyone's perception of you. It's getting comfortable in your own body. It's not being so hyper vigilant and letting your mind relax instead of making your mind work so hard to control everyone's perception of you. Now, when you make the transition to imperfection is my superpower, or I'm allowed to be imperfect, you're not saying that it's okay to be lazy, that it's okay to not care about the work that I'm doing. That's not what you're doing. What you're doing is creating safety internally. You're creating mental safety for yourself, because if you want to be creative, whether you're wanting to be creative in your 9 to 5 or in your creative work, a perfectionist mind is an unrelaxed mind. It's a mind that is geared towards editing and not geared towards flow. It's a mind that's geared towards suppression and withholding and not geared towards openness. It makes it harder to make connections. It makes it harder to allow your brain to wander. So when you are embracing the mindset shift of imperfection is my superpower, what you're doing is you're really embracing allowing yourself to show up authentically. You're allowing yourself to show up unedited. And that is one of the things that's not just going to lead you to creativity, not just going to lead you to doing better work. It's going to lead you to a more calm and regulated nervous system. It's going to lead you to better relationships because your relationships are not masked. They're not controlled and surveilled in the same way that you have in the past. It's going to lead to you being more relaxed in general. It just leads to a better life, period, when you start embracing the idea that you don't need to be perfect. Not only do I not need to be perfect, my imperfection is my superpower because my imperfection is my authentic self. My imperfection is me showing up as myself and not trying to be fake, not trying to control other people's perception of me. It makes you more confident. It means that you are okay. You're good in your own skin. You're good in your own body, and you own your mistakes. You own your shortcomings because you know that you're worthy of existing as you are. You do not need to be perfect. You're worthy of love as you are. That mindset shift is one of the most important ones that you can make. The next important mindset shift that you can make is going from failure is final to failure is information. Failure is information. From failure is final to failure is information. This is one of the things. Now, girl, I've failed so much. I have failed so much. And one of the most beautiful, wonderful things that has ever happened to me is starting to view my failure as information. I talk about this failure all the time because it was so embarrassing, or maybe I haven't talked about it all the time, but I'll talk about it now. Is in one of the writer's rooms that I was in, I turned in a script and it got a page 1 rewrite. That means that it literally was deleted and they started over. At the time, that failure was so personal to me. It felt like I was a failure, even though there were other factors that made it really necessary for that script to be a page 1 rewrite. We went in a completely different way in the room. We started talking about different things. The way that they also sent me off to write that script, it was very unfinished. The idea was not solidified. So there were tons of reasons why it totally made sense that script needed to be a page 1 rewrite. But at the time, I took it as an absolute failure. And mind you, it wasn't a well-written script. It wasn't a well-written script, okay? Now, that was tough for my ego to take at the time, but you know what your girl did? Because I made that mindset shift that failure is information. I put myself back in a class. I was already in my 3rd or 4th writer's room at the time. I put my butt back in a screenwriting class because I'm never going to have a page 1 rewrite again. I need to make sure that my skill set is up to par. And that failure was so crushing to me that after I dealt with the emotional part of that failure, I started to look at, hey, what is this telling me about myself? How could I improve? How could I make sure that this doesn't happen again? At the very least, even if I do have another page 1 rewrite, how can I be more confident going in? Because I also was really not confident when I went off and wrote that script because I was a newer writer. There were a lot more experienced writers in that room, and I was the most inexperienced writer in that room. But point of the matter is, I don't care. I want to feel good about myself. I want to feel good about my work. I want to feel good about what I turn in always. Those are the standards that I have for myself. So when I had that failure, yes, it hurt, but it also made me a better writer. I never had a page 1 rewrite again. As a matter of fact, I got more confident. I got better. My skill set got more solidified. I got more experience because it made me go back and make sure that I was writing things correctly, that I was fleshing out stories properly, that I was putting in jokes, that I was making sure to really flex my skill set when I wrote the next script. When you view failure as information instead of viewing it as a personal failure, your mind starts to look for solutions instead of getting stuck in the I'm just not good, I just don't know things. Also, a lot of times we're looking at things that we don't know. For instance, just not being good at productivity or not being productive. I think a lot of people have this perception that they should just know things, that they should just be good at things, that they should just be good at planning and executing a script or a feature film or a creative project. Even when they don't actually have that skill set, they don't know about those tools, there's information that is missing that they attribute to personal failure, but all it really needed was a little bit of curiosity about, what don't I know? What is this failure pointing to that I don't know? Another thing I feel about this personal failure thing, particularly as someone who struggles with ADHD symptoms, a lot of creatives do have ADHD symptoms or they're on the spectrum somewhere, is when you look at ADHD as a personal failure, when you look at it as, oh, I'm lazy, this can be one of the most discouraging ways to go about your creative process, because there are tools available to you. There's so much knowledge available to you. One of those things is I have a productivity for creatives workshop. I'll link that down in the description. And it's an ADHD-friendly workshop. And I walk you through how to plan and execute your creative projects. And I give you the tools that you need, particularly if you are someone who is neurospicy, to be able to execute your projects. And some of the most important information that you're going to get from that workshop is that you have to be compassionate with your shortcomings or perceived shortcomings. You have to learn yourself and understand the best ways that you work so that you can get your work done. It's not about condemning yourself. It's not about putting yourself down. It's not about viewing any of your shortcomings as pure negativity. It's about learning how you work best, what works best for you, getting information about how you can be productive, and not assuming that just because you don't know something that you just can't do it now. It's just about working with yourself, being on your own side. Shifting that mindset from failure is final to failure is information. What is this failure telling me about what I need to get my goals across the finish line, to succeed and get what I want? And the last important mindset shift that I want to talk about is going from someone who believes that you're going to be discovered or someone is going to pluck you out of obscurity and make you a star, to becoming someone who knows that they are in charge of their own future. Now, I'm not saying that it is impossible for you to get plucked and chosen, but even if you did get plucked and chosen, it's still better to have the mindset of, I'm in charge of my creative future. I'm in charge of my future success. After I got my first manager, I kind of was like, well, I'm done. I did it. I broke in. I have a manager now. And now these guys are going to do everything for me. Hopefully you didn't have that kind of mindset, but I had a version of that mindset. And what happens is that you give your power away. You give your power away. You give your power away. And the creative industry, it has changed, it has shifted, but the number one thing that I see that has been consistent is that creatives, artists need to maintain a level of sovereignty, a level of power of their own, and not give their power away, because of course, there are always people, industries out there who will take advantage of people who are thirsty, people who don't know their own power, people who are not confident, people who don't understand their own self-worth, who don't understand the value of their creative work, their voice, and they give their power away. And I think that mindset of someone is going to come find me, someone is going to pluck me out of obscurity and make me a star. It just is the number one way to give your power away. It's the number one way to not be in charge of your creative future and your future success, because you're looking to other people to validate you, to tell you that you're good enough, to tell you that it's your time to shine. And like I said at the very beginning with the not waiting for permission, is you don't need to wait for anybody to find you either. As a matter of fact, if you want to do anything in the creative climate that we're in right now in particular, you have to have a level of, I'm the boss of my creative future. I'm the boss of my career. So that means that you don't wait for anybody's permission. You don't wait for anybody to find you and pluck you. You decide, you put yourself out there. You don't allow yourself to believe that failure is final. You recognize that failure is important information. We need failure in order to succeed. You go from I can't make mistakes to my imperfection is my superpower. And I'm afraid to be seen to I'm allowed to be seen. So all of these mindset shifts that I've talked about require you to, number one, become aware of when you are in that mindset, when you are in that headspace of I can't be imperfect, or failure is final, or I have to have permission to do this thing that I want to do. You have to bring awareness to when you are in this mental loop, when you are in this headspace. If you're not aware of when you are in this headspace, you're not going to be able to change it. And the way that I've helped clients address this is with mindfulness. I created a workshop also linked down in the description called Mindfulness for Creatives. And one of the most important things that you learn is becoming aware of your thoughts. I started incorporating mindfulness into my work because of the climate that we're in as creatives, because our attention is constantly being taken away, because it's harder for us to be in the present moment. And also because mindfulness is one of the most powerful tools that you can have in your arsenal as a creative. It makes you more present. It increases flow. It makes you more creative. It makes you more confident. It allows you to address these beliefs that are going on in the background in your mind. And when I teach mindfulness in this workshop, it's about bringing awareness to your thoughts, to your thought loops, so that you can interrupt them with new thought loops, with new beliefs, with new mindsets. It's work that is done moment by moment. Whenever you notice you're believing something, you are making an immediate shift in your thinking right in that moment. So being someone who has had to address a lot of these mindsets myself, as well as being a coach who helps creatives shift these mindsets, is what brought me to mindfulness. It's what made me start practicing mindfulness. It's what made me start bringing mindfulness to my clients and incorporating it into the work that I do, because for the most part, we live our lives on autopilot. We live our lives in the same stories, thought loops, beliefs that we've had. We hold on to these stories about who we are and what we're allowed to do and who we are allowed to be because of things that we've learned from childhood, because of messages that we've gotten from society or the people around us. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that if it is holding you back, if it is keeping you small, if it's keeping you from reaching your creative potential or just embracing and embodying your most calm, confident, and authentic self, then it needs to change. You need to commit to becoming aware of what your mind is doing and actively changing your mindsets. And the way that I'm helping creatives do this is with the Mindfulness for Creatives workshop. It is free. It is linked down in the description. And just starting to incorporate more mindfulness into your life, into your everyday life as much as possible is really going to help you with addressing these negative thought loops, with changing these thought loops so that you can be more in control of your mind, and you can achieve and do the kind of creative work that you want to do, and you can get to where you want to get to. I hope that this was helpful to you. If it was, please like and subscribe. And that's all I've got for you today. Until next time, get out there, get to work.